Hey, welcome to Eric's Barbecue and More. Today, we're doing a mods video on this Old Country Pecos Smoker. I'm going to go through the mods I've already done and then show you some mods, or show you how to do some new mods that I've got that I haven't tested yet, but we're going to be testing them this weekend on some brisket and some pork shoulder. I had these fire bricks for another project and used them here just to see how they would do. Anytime you can retain your heat and keep these walls from getting super hot and baking the paint off, it'll help prevent that for my firebox. So where the heat is the most intense right here, I've got fire bricks, and these can take 1,000 degrees or something like that. So they'll last a long time, and building my fire here, it keeps my paint real nice and good on the sides. So I highly recommend that. Not much else I've done to the firebox itself. I did add some gaskets that these couldn't take the extreme heat here, so I just tried a new 600 degree caulking, and I've got a video on that as well. Going to the cooking chamber, I've also added some caulking. As you can see, this little dark spot here, always smoke leaking out right here, so I'm hoping by adding this that I'll eliminate that. Also, my $200 smoker was a manager's special, and the reason was the lid was a little warped. Of course, it was rusting, and with the warped lid, I do get smoke coming out of this area right in here, so I'm hoping that running that little bead will help that. So we'll see tomorrow. Shelf. The Pecos does not come with a shelf, and I added that in our shop at work with the help of one of the guys there, Brian McBurney. He welded this angle on here to prevent the shelf from sliding off. So you need some kind of a stop here on top of this angle. The angle is just bolted, and of course clearanced around the hole there for the smoker on the one side, and on the other side, I don't think you can see it, but it's just a regular old angle. Go ahead and measure this stuff for you. So this is a 3-inch angle by inch and a half, and then another angle welded to that. Of course, that could also be bolted for those of you who don't have access to a welder. Just carbon steel, and no need to paint anything on that. We just season it real good. Then this is a stainless steel mesh that he broke on a press brake and created that shelf. I may or may not cut these out and lower this down just a little bit. It's pretty stout now, but I don't know if it needs to be that stout. It's not a lot of room right here above the smoker. I've only got about 4 inches to deal with, which is great for ribs, but if you want to put a shoulder up there, it gets a little tight. I've done it and it's not a problem, so I don't know, I might not mess with it. The dimensions of the top shelf, you got to keep in mind that you got to clear in between the lid. So the lid's right at 36 1/4. So if you make this shelf 36, should be fine. So yeah, right at 36. And then we went about 9.5 inch deep. So that's the shelf mod. Alright, next we're going to cover the tuning plates. So as you can see here, I've got 6 tuning plates. These are 4 by 1/4 inch thick steel. The thicker they are, you know, the more they'll retain heat and give you more thermal ability. So these are 13.5 inches long. I basically matched the length of the heat diversion plate that's already built into the Old Country Pecos. I matched that so that I could be at that same level. I guess you could go taller, but I like being able to seal off this edge right here and then gap this maybe 1/4, half, 3/4 inch, 1.25 inches, that kind of a deal. And I usually slide these around and just kind of play with the temps. But yeah, there's mine, 4 inches, 13.5, and it does a really good job of, there's some confusion on what tuning plates are for. It doesn't have really to do with the smoke. It's more about dissipation of the heat. So the heat is really hot on this side over here, and you want to slowly release that heat across the cooking surface so that your heat on this side and on this side are as equal as possible. You're always still going to have some heat, more heat on this side because that's where the firebox is. But with these plates, it allows you to spread that out a little better. Now in the Old Country Pecos, the smoke exhaust is right at the food surface, so there's no need to have a smoke mod like you have on other smokers. You know, your smoke will come up and it has to go back down to get out of the cook chamber, and so your meat in this location gets plenty of smoke. I want to talk about is this drain that I've put in here. So I'll show a video, probably be part of this video of creating this this drain. So I've got a pretty inexpensive ball valve for the drain, and this is the kind of drain that you see on the more expensive smokers, versus hanging a bucket on here. I can close that off and all my grease will stay until I want it to come out. But I've got another idea for this, and that is creating a water box on the bottom of this smoker to keep moisture in. So, and I'll show this, because we have this plate here, I can fill this up with water. I won't fill it all the way up because I want to still be able to have good volume of smoke to get through, but my heat is right here on this side, and if I can heat up this plate and get the water going good and actually boil in here, then I can keep some moisture into the firebox. And so I'll be trying that out tomorrow. It's my Memorial Day cook. I've got a pork shoulder, 2 pork shoulders, and another brisket to do. So Alright, we are 4 hours in. Thought I'd open it up and see how it's doing. Oh yeah. Looking really good. Spritz with the water box. I don't know if I can see in there. But it is working really good. Keeping the nice moisture in here. You saw how moist that meat was. But it is definitely boiling and creating some moisture, so pretty happy with that. I have had to add water a couple times now, so just another little thing. I'm adding it from the firebox side. You can see it right there.